Avona, do you know what today is?
My 100th birthday.
Wow!
You know how you get there?
How?
One day at a time.
You must eat some good food.
Sure, that's the best part of it. Do you eat good food?
No, I don't eat good food. What's the secret to living to be 100?
Well, it's a secret that I don't know. It's a secret to me because in my family, my sister and my brother and my husband all died of cancer. And I don't know why I didn't have cancer. I never had cancer. In fact, I haven't been sick. I had never been in a hospital for any reason, in a room or have a doctor, until I was over 95 years old.
Wow.
And then I was driving in my car. I have a car. And would you like to go with me, take me to church, or to on Friday nights, like tomorrow night? But I don't want to go this time. But on Friday nights, you could take me, I would appreciate it, to a place where they have a meeting. Somebody calling you. They have a meeting, and there are always a few guys, and they're usually single guys and single women. There's always some women. It's not a big crowd. It's just a little home study. And one of them is the leader, and it's kind of interesting.
Tell me about when you were a school teacher.
Well, my first job was a school teacher. And we taught school in a country school. They had a one-room school, and all the grades, 1 to 8, were in that. You didn't always have every grade, but I had most of them. I had first graders and second graders and sixth graders and a couple boys that were in the 7th and 8th grade, and they were big, strong guys. And they came to school on a horse. They rode horseback, and they tied up their horse and took care of them outside by the schoolhouse. And I taught there for 1 year until that year all the grades were finished. And I didn't go back the next year because they decided to close that school, and because there was some kind of a bus company that would take the kids to the nearest town, which was not very far, but they couldn't, it was too far to walk. I walked to school to teach because I was the teacher, and the teacher had to be everything. The janitor, the wood chopper,
What year was that?
Oh, that was in 1946 or 7, about. I had 2 years of training at a school, at a place in Minnesota when I taught, because after 2 years of that school education, I got a certificate, and I was a teacher, to be paid. But the pay was I lived with a family, a farm family, and had to walk from that farm family to the schoolhouse. And on the weekends, or during the week, I had to go in every morning early enough to rev up the fires in the furnace. There was a kind of an open furnace in the basement. It wasn't a basement, it was just a hole in the ground. So then I would have the kids get it warm before they came, a little bit warm. They'd wear clothes like you've got on, really warm clothes. And I would too, because walking, one time it was such a storm and so cold, if I hadn't been hanging onto a farm fence, I couldn't see where I was because it was such a blizzard. And I was walking to school. But I made it. Otherwise I wouldn't live to be 100, But that was the way things were then. And when I got to the school building that particular day, after I had been walking for a mile or more to get there, feeling my way sometimes because I couldn't see for the snowstorm, I crawled on my hands and knees the last few feet because I knew I was close enough. Got into the building, which was, freezing cold. Hadn't been a fire in there for a couple days, so I had to go down the basement and start up a fire. It had to take a while to warm it up, but that's the way teachers were. They were the janitors and the teachers, and sometimes bringing food. The kids usually brought their own food, but anyway, it was not easy, and it was more than one farmer, and I think teachers froze to death trying to get to school. I shouldn't have been out, and as I talked with the farmer that I stayed with afterwards, he said, well, I shouldn't have let you go out, but I didn't know it, and he didn't know it was so bad. And it stayed bad, but I felt I had to get to the school. So I managed to keep walking until I got to the building, and then I had to get the fire going. Nobody came to school. The parents didn't bring the kids that day, and the kids didn't walk. So I was all alone in school, but by the time the day was over, it was getting warm enough. But it hadn't been warm all day, but I probably had at least 3 or 4 layers of clothes on, everything I could put on probably. And by the end of the day, I was not suffering. So the farmer came with a horse and buggy, I would say, sleigh, and took me home. Because I wasn't going to go out and walk again in that storm. I remember I thought, I'll keep the fire going. I've got plenty of wood. So I kept the fire going all day. When finally he came and he was, like I say, sorry to think that I had walked that mile. But I did that walking every day, so I was, in that way, it was probably a good thing that I walked every day. I kept in better shape. Did you ever walk to school? And any very distance, or did you have a bus?
The bus, just to the bus stop.
They had a bus. Well, anyway, that's kind of a story that, they don't even have that kind of school anymore. And there wasn't any TV, there wasn't any, I don't remember what I did all day, but I know I tried to think of ways to entertain the kids, and every once in a while I would have parents come. And the kids they would learn something to talk about, and they would get up and talk about it it was kind of like a party. The parents would bring some food, and then we'd have a program, and then we'd have a food. But that was the kind of the fun part, you know. And the kids were pretty good kids. They weren't. Now you hear about schools where kids kill kill each other and the parents and the teachers. Well, that probably didn't happen. I never heard of such a thing. You know, no kids were that mean and that ugly on the farm. There was plenty to do for them to keep in shape and make it earn their way, and as soon as they were able. So that was the way I started out. And some days, like that one day that I walked all the way to the school on a Monday, I didn't expect to have to do much of that, but walking a mile or more for a day was no big problem. I did it every day. I was used to it. Did you ever walk at all? I mean, and work that you did, or anything that you had to provide supplies of some kind?
I just walk at the flea market.
Now you go walking more because
Yeah.
you go to the flea market.
That's the walking I do.
Do they have that every day?
It's Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday.
3 days. And what all do you buy?
Huh?
What do you buy? What do they sell?
They have everything. Everything you'd
Not
want.
everything.
Yeah, anything you'd want they have at the
You
flea
mean
market.
to eat. They have more to eat. But can you go there and buy a new pair of jeans?
Mostly used stuff out there.
They have
But-
used jeans. And
Some people bring new stuff.
I see. So they hang up, buy. Well, do they have a lot of people come shop?
Oh yeah. A lot of people.
How long is that all day?
All day. From morning till afternoon, maybe 5.
But they start early?
7 in the morning, maybe till 5.
Well, that is a long day.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered being one of the people that sell it instead of buying? You never did. Well, how would you think would be the best way for a person who didn't have, I don't know what kind of education you would need, but I had the teacher's education, which was, and it wasn't really much education, but it was something. What would you do that would have, or would you ever do something that you had to have an education? What would you do? Are you experienced in like cars? Can you repair cars? Do you do that?
I can.
You can, but do the people that you know come to say, well, you can do this, and so how much can you do, and how much would it cost? Do they do that?
I like to get my mechanic to fix.
Hello,
Well,
hello.
Robinson.
Yes, I'm home.
Happy birthday, Avona.
Happy birthday.
100 years old.
Yes.
There's a lady here that's 106. Did you know that? Here at Top of the World.
No, I don't know her.
She's 106.
I've heard there are people over 100,
Yeah.
and so I don't know that one. Do you know her?
No, I just seen it online.
Well, I was telling my cousin, my family, that the on top of the world, I don't do it, but I understand you can see the whole paper on the television. Do you do that? Or computer?
I looked on the paper and I didn't see the article about you on the front page. It's different
No, it's
online.
not the front page. It's, you saw it though, you saw it.
Yeah.
You saw my copy. I've got a copy. It's on the third section.
Uh-huh.
They have 3 parts, and this one is the front page on the, not the front page, but the front page on the third section. So people had, well, the last time I went to philosophy club, which is on Tuesdays, people there had papers, and I brought a paper, and they said they had seen the story about me. Didn't you ever see the story? You did.
I read the paper you had.
You had the one I had. Okay. Well, that's yeah. It's a kind of an extraordinary surprise to me to have a whole page. I know they don't do that very often.
It was a good write-up.
And the lady was, I went to the, I'm a Republican, and I went to the Republican meeting. Would you like to go to a Republican?
Oh yeah, tell us about Trump.
Well, but they don't talk, at the last meeting I was at was about was a Republican meeting. But they mentioned something, but there wasn't much about Trump. They were talking about the guys that are going to be senators and going to be various. Did you get everything done?